Knows Nothing. So if you're here today on video number one, you probably know me. So hi, and if you don't know me, glad you're here. So I'm not doing this because I think I'm going to be a famous YouTuber. I'm doing this because I want to learn video editing. I have a podcast with my friend Jessica called Bear Belief, and in the summer we're going to take a pause, and in September we're going to start up again, and our plan is to do a video podcast, move from audio only to video only. And in order to do that, I need to figure out how to video edit. So instead of just doing this with boring files and stuff, that's why I thought I'd just kind of do a vlog style thing and learn some video editing along the way. So who am I? Well, basically, I'm a middle-aged gay man living in Montreal. I think in the first little bit of my videos, I'm probably going to focus on my bariatric journey. In 2023, I had a bariatric surgery. I had a surgery called a Roux-en-Y, which is also known as a gastric bypass. It's a pretty popular surgery in terms of bariatric surgery. At the time, I was 285 pounds, and I'm only 5'8", so that is a lot of pounds for someone who's only 5'8". And as you can see, I am no longer 285 pounds. I lost in total 135 pounds. So I got down to 150 pounds, which at the time was great. It took me about a year to lose all the weight, and then I didn't like how I looked. I thought I looked emaciated. I looked thin. It didn't really feel like me, even though it was bizarre. Like, I'd look in the mirror and you'd see all like this sagging skin, and I don't know, I didn't look well. So I decided to do something about that, and I started working out, and I got a personal trainer, and since then I've put up another 30 pounds or so, depending on the day, so it kind of fluctuates a bit, but right now I'm at about 180, but it's a good 180. If according to like my measurements and according to ChatGPT, of those 30 pounds that I've since gained, probably about 20 to 25 of them are probably muscle. So I've completely transformed from someone who was round and pudgy to someone who looks pretty good for someone who's in his early 50s. I'm going to be 52 in a couple months. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy with this. This is, I think, when I compare myself to men who are my age, I'm pretty happy with how I look right now in terms of what you can expect at this point. So we'll probably do a couple videos surrounding how I navigate my life as someone who's had bariatric surgery. It doesn't end after the surgery. It's a lifelong thing. If you know, or if anyone who's had bariatric surgery, or if you yourself has had bariatric surgery, you know that it doesn't end. It's a lifelong thing, and it's not easy. So I'm 2.5 years, more than 2.5 years, I guess, almost going on, yeah, it's way more than 2.5 years now. It's like 2 years and 8 months, 9 months post-surgery, and I still have to navigate the consequences of the surgery. The surgery itself changes the structure of your digestive tract in a significant way. So you will always be, if you ever have a bariatric surgery, you will always have to navigate that reality. It's not difficult anymore. I think I've gotten used to that change, and the reality is that I would do it again tomorrow. It changed my life. Before the surgery, I was not doing well. My blood pressure was at a alarming, how do you say it? My blood pressure was alarming. My doctor was very concerned. I was on blood pressure medication. I was at the maximum dose. It was not looking well in terms of that. My cholesterol was high. My resting heart rate was crazy. I was pre-diabetic. I had just been put on metformin. What else? I had sleep apnea pretty badly. I had all kind of reflux. So I was diagnosed with gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is horrible. I would wake up at night choking on my reflux, like it was disgusting and not fun. I feel like I'm missing some others. Like there was a whole host of things, and because I have asthma and I'm also diagnosed with something called a cervical stenosis in some of my vertebrae here. It's a narrowing of the passage inside your vertebrae that puts pressure on your nerves. So because I have that, all of this combined with the extra weight just made it was not good. I was having a hard time just getting through the day. So I needed to do something. I've had weight issues my whole life. I've yo-yoed. I've been on all the diets. I've been a triathlete at some point. I did triathlons as an amateur. I'm an avid swimmer. I swam most of my life. I'm like really love swimming. I'm pretty sporty, outdoorsy just in general. I like to rollerblade. I like to go hiking. I like camping. I like those kinds of things. But in spite of all that, I was still mega overweight. And the reality is that when you go through those cycles, it affects your metabolism, it affects how your body and the hormonal level, and you need to do something. Today, maybe the options would be different. Maybe if I were to do it today and consult a doctor, they might suggest something like Ozempic or Mounjaro or one of those drugs. That wasn't really an option back then. And that's something you need to discuss with your doctor. Like I can't tell you what you need, but I know for me and for some of the people I know around me that have had bariatric surgery, we all think it's fantastic, and I would not go back to my pre-bariatric life. I'm happy with how things are now, and I really wouldn't change anything. Like honestly, I'm for once in my life I feel okay with how I look. I'm not disgusted anymore when I look in the mirror. I can bear to look in the mirror. Before my surgery, I couldn't even look in the mirror anymore. I didn't want to. I'd go into the bathroom and I would avoid looking in. That's how bad I felt about myself. Another thing that's changed is that people treat you differently when you're fat. They just do. And that's something that I think I wasn't really prepared for. Like I noticed it. I remember back when I was overweight, if I were to go to a restaurant or just in general meeting people treat you differently. They just do. They look at you with a bit of resentment, and sometimes they just completely disrespect you right to your face. I remember a couple times in situations where, like for example, at McDonald's, you go in to just order a coffee. I remember one morning before an appointment at the doctor's office, I stopped in at McDonald's to get a coffee. I'm just getting coffee, but yet getting service from the interactions from the people working there, as opposed to how they treated other people around me, it's clear that they're disgusted by you. And sometimes people would just say it. And at the time, there's a few years ago, I was dating a guy who, I guess you could say, was conventionally attractive. And when we would go out, people wouldn't believe me when I told them that that guy was my boyfriend. They'd be like, no, he's not your boyfriend. Like, you're making that up. Like, who makes that stuff up? They just couldn't understand why someone who looked like I did could possibly have someone who was so conventionally attractive. So you get all kinds of things like that. And now that I have, I guess you could say, a more conventionally attractive body, I get attention from people in a way that I didn't before. And that's an interesting thing to navigate, because in a way it's nice to get positive attention, but at the other side, like sometimes it pisses me off, because I think, especially like in like the gay dating world, like there are guys who completely rejected me when I was overweight, and now they don't recognize me because the difference is kind of staggering. And now I feel some kind of way. Like if they come at me, like I don't, it's weird. It kind of messes with your brain a little bit, because you're still the same person. And to a degree, it takes a long time to heal the fat person inside of you. So that's still there. That's still an issue that I need to deal with because my mental image of myself is not, sometimes it's surprising. Like I'll see myself in the mirror and I don't, it's like the person in the mirror doesn't really match the person in your head. It's very strange. It's a very kind of dysmorphic thing to kind of go through. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's the Gaybriel Knows Nothing channel. We'll talk about bariatric surgery. We'll probably talk a lot about cooking, dieting. I'm into, I do a lot of home projects. Like I have a sewing studio. Maybe I'll do a tour of my sewing studio at some point. We'll do some sewing projects. I like gaming. I like playing video games. I like camping. I like traveling. Maybe I'll do traveling videos or how I handle traveling and feeding myself as a bariatric patient because it is not easy. So these are all topics that I think I could talk about that could be beneficial to some people or at least interesting. If you have any topics, make sure you write them in the comments below or just shout me a message or click the like button, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. You guys know how it works. So, look who it is. Yeah, maybe I'll do a video on my cats. I'm like a crazy cat lady. So, yeah, see? Oh, this one's Katrin. Hello, Katrin. So maybe, oh, isn't she adorable? So who knows what this channel is going to be? It's going to be mostly an exploration of video editing. But if you guys like this, give me your suggestion and I'll be happy to see what I can do. All right, everybody.